Hi, good morning. This is Anna Imagination with the Healing Garden. I really am flatlined today, which is, I guess, my terminology for withdrawing and pulling back so far that I can just sit and observe. And I watched a video yesterday on polyamory. A friend of mine had given a TED talk, and it was absolutely beautifully. He articulated he articulated things about polyamory just so well. And it was the first time I truly understood the scope and the philosophy behind polyamory. And I feel like there's this option of polyamory or monogamy, and those are your options. One or many. And when I was with my partner, he referred to something called non-monogamish, which was, yeah, you're mostly monogamous with a few exceptions. And it really actually fitted me, like spot on. We are obsessed with finding the right words to describe us because we are looking for our names. And people who have trauma with labels confuse labels and names. So they hear all the words that we're throwing around. And there's a lot of people who have a trigger associated with the words. So they get defensive and say things like, why do you have to put a label on it? Because I'm looking for a name. And a name is mandatory for defining who you are. A label is what someone else tells you they think you are. People who have a severe aversion to names and labels is a significant sufferer of perspective abuse. So, and they have work to do. So I read this, or I watched this TED Talk, and then I went and saw a friend last night, and our activities last night really put perspective on a few things, enough that I'm back to this and I'm thinking, and I don't think monogamy and polyamory is the right answer. I don't think it's either or. I don't think it's black and white. There's something I'm missing, and it's bothering me. And I think monogamy is a gift that a person, I don't have the right answer for this. There's too many variables. There are too many variables. So I'm just going to go through the variables because this is really it. There's just so many variables. Do we all start off as polyamory and we all roam around getting it out of our system until we find the one and then we settle down? Do we cram ourselves into the expectations of monogamy because somebody else has control issues? Do we embrace polyamory because we truly do seek out? I found the flaw with polyamory. There's the flaw. I knew it was bothering me. Okay, so the argument with polyamory is this. No one person can fulfill all your needs. That's the flaw. No one is supposed to be fulfilling any of your needs. You are not supposed to be dating somebody because you need them. You're not supposed to be picking up people and plugging them into your life because you have needs, and that's what people are for. People are not supposed to be used for your needs. Your needs are supposed to come from you. Your needs are supposed to be 100% internalized, and you're supposed to be taking care of your own needs, period. You are not supposed to be using other people for your needs. That's called prosthetic ethics. You're using a human being as a prosthetic for an ethic that you lack. People who use other people for a need literally have the inability to self-comfort. If you're lonely, you need to go back to your ethics. There's a reason why you're lonely, and it has nothing to do with people or your lovers or your sex or your partner. Your needs come from you, not other people. And it's very narcissistic to use other people for your needs. That's the narcissist coming out in all of us. And one of the biggest arguments, in fact, the primary argument for polyamory is people saying, well, you can't expect one person to fulfill all of your needs. No, I expect no one to fill any of my needs. That's been the disconnect. Now I can think clearly. Stepping back and looking at this, why would we choose polyamory over monogamy? Now, other people use monogamy to, as a rule, to control what they feel out of control for. It's 100% a projection of someone's lack of control or insecurity onto another person. I have yet to see a monogamous situation where that was not a factor. Now, some people might be very comfortable with that, granted. And I also question that person's mental health and mental development and their growth stage. And if you are comfortable never pushing your boundary and never getting yourself out of your comfort zone, monogamy is going to be a fantastic solution for you. It provides you with an environment where you literally don't have to grow. Monogamy literally is an area, a safe space of total comfort where you don't have to grow. And polyamory should not be used so that you can just cherry pick as many people as you can to fulfill all of your needs, because you should not be using people for your needs anyway. So in my opinion, boom, they're both wrong. Now, why really truly would a person choose polyamory? Why would they choose monogamy? Now, I have a lot of societal pressure on me to be poly. And I see the people around me, 99% of the people around me are polyamorous. In fact, it's almost unheard of for anyone in my community to be monogamous. It's a very personal decision if they are, and it's very unusual for anyone in my community to be monogamous. And I'm one of them in a way, and this is where it gets really like, because I identify very much as poly, because according to my whim, and I am 100% free to do whatever I want without any consequence. And I feel like I've gotten it out of my system. I feel like I have found the ultimate fit for me. And everyone else just feels second best. Everyone else feels like I'm settling. Everyone else feels like, imagine you've got this pizza shop and it's the best fucking pizza in the world. And then there's like 30 million other pizza shops because, it's New York. So there's like a pizza shop every block. And why would you eat anywhere else? If it's right here and it's the perfect pizza, why would you eat anywhere else? And when you go on occasion to go sample another pizza, you get that, oh, that's just not, no, I got the best right here. Thanks. And then you get comfortable again, you settle down and this is how my cycle is, where I go, you know what? I think I want an adventure. And then I go out, I have an adventure and I'm like, oh, that was not, yeah, no, I've got the best over here. That was terrible. And and it's not that the sex is bad. It's not that. It's a whole lot of factors. I can feel every person has a song to them, and I can feel every song, and I can feel how their song fits mine. And it's instantaneous. I'll meet somebody and I can just feel the song and be like, ooh, your song vibes with me. And I have felt so many songs, and not one song is the same. It's completely incomparable. And that's the way it feels with people for me. And that's the way it feels with sex for me, is I just feel very different tunes. And I've got one that is so superior. Why would I ever settle for anything less? And I also feel like I got it out of my system. So it's like a feeling of, okay, there's a formula here. There is X amount of people. Yes, this is the formula. You have X amount of perspectives that a person requires to achieve the Y conclusion. And that X is different for every person. Now, for me, my total sex partners is like 67 total. And I'll tell you, oh my God, we're going to talk about this. When you hit your first one is an eye opener. and you hit your second one, and you're sitting there going, wow, and you're comparing and you can see the difference. Just wait. You hit that again when you hit 10 partners. At 10 partners, you're going, wow, now I have experience. Now I get perspective. 40. When you hit 30 partners, that was an eye opener. That was like, you see shit. And it happened again at 50. And it got to the point when I was nearing 60 that I really could start to gain this perspective of, oh, holy shit, there are levels. Like imagine sexual growth stages. And there's a sexual growth stage 1, a sexual growth stage 2. If you have less than 30 partners, you are only at sexual growth stage 2. Sorry, guys. And that's what you don't realize until you have this massive amount of partners. And so you have somebody who's, oh, I've got one partner, I've had 5 partners, I've had 7 partners, and you're looking at them and they're giving you their worldwide opinion of sexuality and monogamy, and they think they know shit. And I'm over here, and I've dated porn stars. I've been involved very significantly with people who have slept with thousands, and they report the same thing, that yeah, there's a sexual growth stage with each and every sum of partners. And it gets to that point, and there is a tipping point when you get to about 1,000 partners. Yes, I know people who have slept with thousands of people, and they were explaining when you hit about 1,000, that's when it all starts to feel the same. And I'm just, by the way, they were not the best lovers I had either. And I'm just looking at the full scope of it. And I'm like, there is a whole world here that's just, we don't explore because monogamy keeps you at levels 1 and 2 of the sexual growth stage. And there is, I would say I'm probably at level 4 of the sexual growth stage, maybe 5, 67 partners, and I might be at a level 4 or 5 growth stage. Yeah, like that's the kind of shit that I'm just like, and I'm talking to these polyamorous people, and I interview people on sexuality. I just dig right into their sexuality. I'm a BDSM mistress. I'm retired, to be honest with you. There's levels of the shadow self that you unlock and you get into and you dig and you let it out and you release it. And it all comes forward. And I woke up this morning with the emotion regret. I wake up every morning afterward feeling regret. So I need to dig into the emotion regret. And it's just this dissection of what is the right answer for sexuality. And honestly, it evolves. That's what I've learned. It evolves like the perspective growth evolves. It 100% evolves. And when I went on my massive exploration, my buffet of I'm going to take back my body and my sex and I'm going to make it all about me. When I sexually empowered myself the year that I did Walkabout, I walked away with such insight and such perspective on men, on sex, on what everybody was doing, on the societal norm of sex, of the variations. And I met one man through all of that adventure that just literally slammed the brakes on everything. And I really felt this defining moment of, this is the one. And I put my bags down metaphorically and I went, no, this is it. I can't do better than this one. Believe me, I've checked. I've looked. I cannot do better than the one I've got. It's like when we find partners, you're looking for, this person has 97% compatibility. This person is at 55% compatibility. We all know about the compatibility charts. There's so many different apps out there and dating companies that focus on this statistic. I would say my partner and I are 99% accurate, like compatible. That's how compatible he and I are. If my strengths are his weaknesses are my strengths. Likewise, we have identically similar interests that connect us. And likewise, we have, and that's really it. You have your interests, you have your strengths and your weaknesses. What else do you have when you have a partner? And it's all this variation, it's all this variable. But I get to this point and I'm done. Like, all right, I'm all done. And I'm looking at these sexual stages of growth and I'm just going, I know there's more out there. I know that if I were to continue what I was doing back in 2020, that my sexual growth stages would advance, but they're not. And I know people who are polyamorous who enjoy a certain type of love and sex, and they're on a level. And I know they experience deep relationships, but they also preserve their own self. And there's also the relationship we have with ourselves and the relationship we have with our sexual partners. And the relationship we have with ourselves, in most cases, especially in the case of monogamy, that relationship is completely destroyed, thrown out the window, and eaten up, if we even have it to begin with. So when you're looking at the sexual nature of things, it's I don't know. Polyamorous argues that there isn't the one. Monogamy argues that there is the one. But I think monogamists jump the gun, find the one too soon without any of the exploration. They think the one is the very first one they find and they're done. I think that's the case in a lot of cases. I think some people do get lucky and they truly do find the one. But I also think that the one will leave you absolutely free to explore and trial and do different things. But that doesn't change the fact that it's the one. And polyamory, every person I've spoken to with polyamory says the same argument. And the thing is, and they say the argument, they provide the argument as if they are providing a superior product to the monogamy. That's a huge part of that. Every one of my polyamory friends, everyone I've spoken to in the polyamory community talks about polyamory as if it's the better solution or the right solution to monogamy. And I think, and there's this one couple, I love them to pieces. They were polyamory, but they're getting older in years. And now they're both monogamous. And what I'm realizing is I think you're polyamory until you find the right one and then you just settle down. And I think that's really it. We all should be in a polyamory lifestyle, exploring and doing our sexual growth. And maybe we should, maybe we shouldn't. I don't know. It's different for every person, isn't it? And for me, my whole life, I felt this absolute whimsical urge of just, no, I got to go, I got to do, I got to be. And it's something that my partner is definitely experiencing is he's not done being polyamory. He was for a while, but now he's back to it. I think he tried it for me. I don't know. Maybe he was just exploring and trying it at all. I don't know. And I think I'm just sick and tired of hearing about how polyamory is the right answer. Because I'm trying it and I did try it. And now I'm looking at it going, yeah, I think polyamory is great if you haven't found the one. And then polyamory will argue, well, there isn't the one. And now I'm looking at it going, yeah, but there's a compatibility. And it's not that I found somebody who's maybe 75% or 65% compatible and, well, this is good enough for me. And I mean, what does the one look like? What's that one? I don't know. I don't know. The problem is there is so much toxic romance around this topic. There's so much toxic love. And that is something that's just, it absolutely tampers with so much of this. I I know everything I know that I know about sex and triadic healing and psychology, and I'm still looking at sexuality and I'm going, some people say it's fun. I read the psychological reasons why a person has sex, and the only answer I was able to come up with is it's different for every person. It is absolutely an opinion. And every person's opinion on sex is absolutely varying and different from the next. There is no right or wrong. There is just your perspective. And I think one of the things I'm running up against is you get to this point where you are so, there is so much societal expectation rammed down our throat that we just, it's trying to sort out all the societal expectation from the toxic romance, trying to sort out all of that with, and for me, what's working beautifully is I don't know what my whim is going to do. I don't know what my whim will do or don't do. I have no idea. I am at the mercy of my whim. And I can't be in a relationship or with a partner who's not understanding of that with me. Because if it feels good and if it feels right, if the circumstances and everything is right where it needs to be, well, then I'm jumping. And I need the freedom to jump. But every time I jump, I have this emotional, mental, personal battle where I'm going, no, that's not it. No, no. Why did you do that? Was it worth everything you did? Was it worth, and it's never worth it. It is never worth any of it. So when it's all done and said, X took place, I feel Y afterward, and I weigh the Y against the X, and I go, yeah, well, that was not worth it. I wish I hadn't done it because the ROI was not, and it's a horrible way to think, but for the sake of terminology, it's the best way I can put it, and that's just it. And there's also definitely a scarcity abundance to this. There's also a massive amount of scarcity abundance. And there's also a prosthetic issue here. Oh no, I'm going to figure this out. Because if you're using sex as a means to fulfill yourself, if you're using sex for other people as a means to fill your prosthetic, that's not going to be. And if you're using sex because you feel you need it because you're lonely, oh, you need to do some inner work. Sexuality is not a prosthetic to make you feel good. And when you reach a certain level of education, of intelligence and wisdom, sex changes. There's a point where you evolve so much that you just get to this point where it's not, you can almost say that it's not fun anymore. I don't know. I just don't know anymore. I just don't know. It's the one answer I cannot figure out. It's the one thing I cannot dig into and figure out because there are just so many, it's a tangled mess. And there's definitely stages of sexual growth. And the toxic romance is a huge part of it. We have so much conditioning. It's about everything that there is out there, more so than money. Sex has more societal garbage dumped into it, skewing all the numbers. So it's really hard to determine exactly at what point. I feel like the only thing I got out of this video is the concept that no one person can meet all your needs. So you need multiple people to fill all of your needs. And I'm sitting here slamming on the brakes going, wait a minute, why are you using people to fulfill your needs at all? You should not be doing that. And if you're not using people to fulfill your needs, then what's sex for anyway? Yes, this is what I'm exploring now. If you like shit like this, like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what part of the show resonated with you. Donate to the garden, help the garden grow. And take a look at my LinkedIn accounts. Triadic Healing is available on my website for free. Go ahead and take a look at it there. Thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.